God says, "My child, before you continue with your day, pause and understand that this is not a random message. It is a moment of awareness designed to help you see your life with deeper clarity, especially when it comes to your family's past and the financial direction of your future." Every family carries an invisible blueprint that quietly shapes the next generation. That blueprint includes beliefs about money, attitudes toward opportunity, responses to risk, and habits formed through years of experience. Some of those patterns were built out of wisdom and sacrifice, while others were formed through fear, lack of information, or difficult circumstances. You are now standing at a point where you are mature enough to observe these patterns instead of unconsciously repeating them, and that awareness alone places you in a powerful position. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that financial destiny is rarely about sudden change and almost always about inherited thinking. The way money was spoken about in your home created impressions in your mind long before you began earning for yourself. If money was constantly associated with stress, arguments, or limitation, you may have developed anxiety around finances. If money was rarely discussed at all, you may have grown up without clear financial structure. If your family struggled but survived through resilience, you may have inherited strength but not strategy. None of these realities are meant to create blame. They are meant to create clarity. Clarity gives you the ability to improve what was incomplete and strengthen what was solid. Take a quiet moment and reflect honestly. What did you observe about financial decisions while growing up? Did you see careful budgeting or impulsive spending? Did you see long-term planning or short-term survival thinking? Did you hear conversations about saving and investing, or only about bills and pressure? These memories matter because they shaped your internal financial language. Many people attempt to change their financial situation without first changing their financial mindset, and that is why they feel stuck. Transformation begins internally before it appears externally. God says, "My child, you are not responsible for the limitations of the past, but you are responsible for how you respond to them." If previous generations lacked access to financial education, you now have access. If they operated from survival, you can now operate from strategy. If they feared risk, you can learn calculated courage. Progress does not dishonor your family, it honors their struggle by building something stronger on the foundation they created. Breaking a limiting cycle is not rebellion, it is growth. There is also a deeper emotional layer connected to finances that many people overlook. Money is often tied to identity, self-worth, and confidence. If you subconsciously believe that wealth is not meant for you, you may avoid opportunities that could elevate you. If you believe that financial success creates distance from family, you may limit yourself to stay comfortable. Examine these hidden beliefs carefully. Ask yourself whether your financial habits reflect your true potential or inherited fear. Awareness is the first correction. Archangel Michael encourages you to approach your finances with calm structure instead of emotional reaction. Begin with simple clarity. Track your income and expenses without judgment. Identify unnecessary spending without shame. Create a small, realistic savings goal instead of overwhelming yourself with unrealistic targets. Learn about financial literacy consistently rather than randomly. Financial growth is not about dramatic leaps, it is about steady discipline. Discipline builds stability, and stability builds confidence. You may also notice that some financial behaviors were developed as coping mechanisms. Overspending can sometimes mask stress. Avoiding budgets can sometimes mask fear. Delaying planning can sometimes mask uncertainty. When you look at your habits with maturity instead of criticism, you gain control over them. Control leads to improvement. Improvement leads to long-term freedom. Freedom begins with responsibility. God says, "My child, this message is not predicting sudden gain or loss. It is calling you to intentional awareness." There may be documents, conversations, or financial matters connected to your family that require thoughtful attention. Handle them calmly. Read carefully. Ask questions wisely. Seek advice if necessary. Financial decisions deserve patience. Impulsive reactions create regret, but thoughtful action creates progress. You are capable of thoughtful action. Remember that generational strength is real. Your family survived challenges that shaped their resilience. That resilience lives in you. Combine that resilience with education and strategy, and you create a powerful combination. You are not starting from nothing. You are starting from experience. Build upon it wisely. Replace outdated habits with informed choices. Replace hesitation with structured planning. Replace fear with preparation. This is your moment to become financially intentional rather than financially reactive. Plan monthly. Review weekly. Learn continuously. Save consistently. Grow patiently. Wealth is not only about large numbers, it is about stability, peace of mind, and freedom of choice. When you build a stable financial foundation, you also build emotional security. That security strengthens every other area of your life. Do not rush through this reflection. Let it settle in your thoughts. Write down one financial belief you are ready to change. Write down one habit you will improve starting today. Even a small improvement, repeated consistently, creates significant long-term results. The future of your finances is not determined by your family's past alone. It is shaped by your awareness and your action today. God says, "My child, now that you have begun to reflect on the patterns connected to your family's financial journey, it is time to go deeper, because awareness without action remains incomplete." There are moments in life when you realize that what you once accepted as normal was simply familiar, and familiarity is not always strength. Some financial habits feel comfortable because you have seen them repeated for years, but comfort does not always equal wisdom. Growth requires you to examine what feels normal and ask whether it is truly effective. This is not about criticism of the past. It is about refinement of the future. You are being invited to upgrade your financial mindset with intention and maturity. Archangel Michael reminds you that generational patterns often operate quietly. Perhaps your family avoided long-term investing because they feared loss. Perhaps they relied heavily on immediate income without planning for emergencies. Perhaps opportunities were declined because stability felt safer than growth. These decisions may have made sense in their time, under their circumstances, with the knowledge they had. But your circumstances are not identical to theirs. Your access to information is greater. Your exposure to financial education is broader. Your responsibility is to use what you now know to build something more stable and structured. Evolution does not require disrespect. It requires courage. Take a serious look at how you currently manage your money. Are you clear about your monthly financial flow, or do you operate from guesswork? Guesswork creates anxiety because uncertainty creates tension. Clarity removes tension. When you know exactly how much you earn, spend, save, and invest, you move from reaction to control. Control builds confidence. Confidence improves decision-making. Better decisions strengthen your financial future. It is a simple chain, but it requires discipline. Discipline is not harsh. Discipline is organized intention. God says, "My child, there may also be unfinished financial conversations within your family that require maturity and calmness." Inheritance matters, shared responsibilities, property issues, or past misunderstandings sometimes surface over time. When they do, approach them with balance. Listen carefully. Communicate clearly. Avoid emotional reactions. Financial clarity requires emotional stability. When emotions dominate, clarity weakens. When calmness leads, solutions appear. You are capable of handling financial discussions with wisdom rather than impulse. There is something else that deserves your attention: the difference between earning and building. Earning provides income. Building creates security. Many people focus only on earning more money without learning how to manage and grow it. True financial stability comes from combining income with structure. Structure means budgeting intentionally. Structure means building an emergency fund. Structure means investing wisely and consistently. Structure means reducing unnecessary debt. Without structure, even large income can disappear. With structure, even moderate income can grow steadily over time. Archangel Michael encourages you to think long-term. Ask yourself where you want to be financially 5 years from now. Do you want stability? Freedom from constant stress? The ability to support others? The power to make choices without fear? These outcomes do not happen randomly. They happen through steady, consistent actions. Small habits repeated daily compound quietly. The habit of saving even a small percentage consistently creates security. The habit of learning about financial literacy weekly creates awareness. The habit of reviewing your goals monthly creates direction. Compounding works in your favor when consistency is present. God says, "My child, sometimes financial limitation is not about income but about mindset." If you believe that wealth is reserved for others, you unconsciously limit your own potential. If you fear growth because it feels unfamiliar, you may stay smaller than you are capable of becoming. Challenge these internal narratives. Replace "I cannot" with "I can learn." Replace "this is too complicated" with "I will understand step by step." Growth is rarely instant, but it is always possible when effort is consistent. It is also important to examine your relationship with comparison. Comparing your financial situation to others without context creates unnecessary pressure. Everyone's starting point is different. Everyone's responsibilities are different. Everyone's resources are different. Focus on progress, not comparison. Measure yourself against your past self, not against someone else's present moment. Progress, even if gradual, is powerful when sustained. You may feel a sense of responsibility to elevate your family's financial story. That responsibility can feel heavy, but it can also feel motivating. Let it motivate you without overwhelming you. You are not required to solve everything at once. You are required to improve consistently. One disciplined step today is better than 10 unrealistic promises for tomorrow. Stability is built brick by brick, not in a single leap. God says, "My child, your future financial security depends on your present financial awareness." Do not delay learning. Do not delay planning. Do not delay organizing your priorities. The earlier you build structure, the stronger your foundation becomes. Every stable future begins with one intentional decision. Make that decision now. Decide to be financially conscious. Decide to be organized. Decide to be disciplined. Decide to break limiting cycles gently but firmly. As this message settles within you, take action in a simple but meaningful way. Review your current financial situation honestly. Identify one area that needs improvement. Commit to strengthening it consistently. Whether it is saving more, reducing wasteful spending, increasing income, skills, or educating yourself about investments, choose one clear direction and move with focus. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence builds stability. Stability builds peace. God says, "My child, as you continue listening, understand that this is the moment where reflection must turn into structured transformation, because recognizing patterns is powerful, but reshaping them is life-changing." Your family's financial history is not a chain meant to hold you back. It is a map meant to show you where improvement is possible. Every generation inherits both strengths and weaknesses. Some inherit discipline but lack opportunity. Some inherit opportunity but lack structure. Some inherit resilience but lack strategy. The true breakthrough happens when you combine the strengths of the past with the awareness of the present. That combination creates stability that lasts. Archangel Michael wants you to recognize that financial growth is not only about numbers. It is about decision-making maturity. Think about how financial decisions were handled in your family during moments of pressure. Were choices made calmly with planning, or quickly with stress? Pressure reveals patterns. If stress controlled past decisions, you now have the opportunity to introduce patience. If fear influenced risk avoidance, you now have the opportunity to learn calculated risk. The difference between repeating history and rewriting it lies in emotional control. Financial clarity requires emotional discipline. When your emotions are balanced, your financial choices improve. There may also be unspoken expectations connected to money in your family. Perhaps there is pressure to provide quickly. Perhaps there is fear of losing what little was built. Perhaps there is a silent belief that financial success changes relationships. These beliefs can influence your behavior without you realizing it. Awareness removes invisible limits. When you consciously examine these expectations, you gain the freedom to choose your own path rather than reacting to inherited pressure. Freedom begins with understanding. God says, "My child, you are capable of becoming the stabilizing force in your financial story." Stability does not require extreme wealth, it requires consistency. When you build a habit of reviewing your finances weekly, you reduce uncertainty. When you commit to saving a fixed percentage monthly, you create security. When you invest time in increasing your skills, you increase your earning potential. Each of these actions may seem small in isolation, but over time they form a powerful system. Systems protect progress. Without systems, progress leaks away. With systems, growth compounds. Consider also the importance of communication. If there are financial matters within your family that need clarity, approach them respectfully. Ask questions thoughtfully. Listen without interruption. Seek mutual understanding instead of control. Financial misunderstandings often grow when communication is delayed. Mature conversations prevent long-term conflict. You do not need confrontation, you need clarity. Clarity creates resolution. Archangel Michael encourages you to think beyond immediate income and focus on asset building. Assets are not only properties or investments. They include knowledge, discipline, networks, and skills. When you develop valuable skills, you create income security. When you build strong relationships, you create opportunity access. When you increase your knowledge, you reduce costly mistakes. These assets strengthen your financial future even if circumstances shift. Security is built through preparation, not prediction. There is also wisdom in pacing yourself. Financial transformation does not happen overnight. If you attempt to change everything at once, you may feel overwhelmed and give up. Instead, focus on progressive improvement. Strengthen one habit at a time. Improve one weakness at a time. Learn one new financial concept each week. Slow and steady progress creates confidence. Confidence sustains motivation. Motivation fuels continued discipline. God says, "My child, do not let regret about past decisions control your present focus." Whether mistakes were made by others or by you, dwelling on them drains energy. Learn from them and move forward. Financial maturity includes the ability to forgive past errors while committing to smarter choices now. You are not defined by past outcomes, you are defined by present discipline. As this message continues to settle in your heart, remember that generational progress often begins quietly. One person decides to save differently. One person decides to learn differently. One person decides to manage risk intelligently. That single decision can influence children, siblings, and future generations. You may be that person. Not through dramatic action, but through consistent structure. Your quiet discipline can become someone else's example. Take this time seriously but calmly. Review your long-term goals. Align your spending with your priorities. Reduce what does not serve your future. Increase what strengthens it. Make your financial life intentional rather than accidental. Intentional living creates predictable progress. Predictable progress creates peace of mind. God says, "My child, as this message reaches its deeper level, understand that the true power of reflection is not in what you discover about the past, but in what you decide about the future." You have now looked at inherited habits, emotional patterns, financial beliefs, and structural gaps, and the purpose of seeing all of this clearly is not to create pressure, but to awaken leadership within you. Every family story evolves because at some point, someone decides to operate with more awareness than before. That decision changes direction slowly but permanently. You are standing in that exact position right now, where your awareness can become the turning point that strengthens everything moving forward. Archangel Michael wants you to realize that financial responsibility is not a burden, it is a form of self-respect. When you manage your finances intentionally, you are telling yourself that your future matters. When you save consistently, you are telling yourself that stability is important. When you learn about investing, budgeting, and planning, you are telling yourself that ignorance is not acceptable anymore. Responsibility is not about restriction, it is about empowerment. Empowerment grows when structure replaces chaos. Chaos weakens confidence, but structure strengthens it. There may be moments when you feel the weight of comparison, especially if others around you appear financially ahead. Release that pressure. Every person's financial timeline is shaped by different responsibilities, opportunities, and starting points. The only timeline that truly matters is your own. Measure your growth by your improvement, not by someone else's visibility. Even small improvements, repeated consistently, will create noticeable difference over time. Patience is a financial asset. Discipline is a financial asset. Consistency is a financial asset. God says, "My child, think carefully about your daily financial behavior because small daily decisions shape long-term outcomes." A minor unnecessary expense repeated regularly becomes significant loss over months. A small but consistent savings habit becomes meaningful security over years. Financial strength is rarely built through dramatic events. It is built through routine awareness. Create a routine that supports your future. Review your financial goals monthly. Adjust your strategy quarterly. Reflect on your progress annually. Treat your finances with the seriousness you give your ambitions. Another powerful shift happens when you begin separating emotions from financial decisions. Emotional spending, emotional lending, emotional reacting, these behaviors often create instability. When you introduce pause before decision, you introduce wisdom. Ask yourself before major expenses, does this align with my long-term goals? Before financial commitments, can I sustain this responsibly? Before risky decisions, have I researched enough? Questions protect progress. Reflection protects resources. Archangel Michael encourages you to view financial growth as a journey of learning rather than a race to completion. Financial literacy is not a single lesson, it is a continuous process. Stay curious. Read consistently. Seek advice from credible sources. Improve your understanding step by step. The more informed you become, the more confident your decisions will be. Confidence reduces anxiety. Reduced anxiety increases clarity. Clarity improves outcomes. There is also something important about legacy. Legacy is not only about wealth left behind. It is about habits demonstrated daily. If younger generations observe discipline, planning, and wise decision-making, they inherit not just resources but knowledge. Knowledge multiplies value. You have the opportunity to model stability. That modeling begins quietly through your own consistent actions. Even if no one immediately recognizes it, your structure is shaping a stronger environment. God says, "My child, release any guilt connected to past financial mistakes." Every person learns through experience. Mistakes become valuable when they transform into lessons. What matters is not what happened before, but how you adjust now. Growth requires humility, and humility allows correction. Correction creates progress. Progress builds security. As this message closes, anchor it with action. Do not allow inspiration to fade without implementation. Choose one concrete financial improvement today. Strengthen your budget. Increase your savings percentage. Reduce one unnecessary expense. Begin learning about a new financial concept. Small action turns reflection into reality. Reality builds confidence. Confidence sustains momentum. You are capable of building financial stability that is calm, steady, and strong. You are capable of honoring your family's journey while improving its direction. You are capable of becoming the disciplined, thoughtful leader of your financial life. Let this awareness remain active beyond this moment. Protect it. Apply it. Strengthen it. If this final continuation has spoken deeply to you, comment, "I build wisely and consistently," below. Like this video if you are committed to structured growth and long-term stability, and subscribe if you are ready to transform awareness into disciplined action and create a financial future that reflects clarity, maturity, and lasting strength.